Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to my Trying a New Makeup Product Everyday series. Today I'm so excited, almost dropped it, to try out a new Wet n Wild product. And good thing I didn't drop it because this is some nice glass packaging. This is the Prime Focus Primer Serum. I chose this in the Hydrate version, mainly because it's pink, but I also love to give my skin hydration. But this has rose water, watermelon, peony, and other nourishing ingredients in it. Green tea extract, which I love to see. I love to see nourishing ingredients in my makeup products. And I picked this up from Walmart. It cost about $7, but it does come in other colors, other versions, like different targeting concerns, like pore refining, brightening, which I really want all of that. Truthfully, I want a primer that does everything, and there definitely are primers like that will refine the pores, hydrate, and then has nourishing ingredients in it and all of that. But for $7, I'm pretty excited about this. It's cruelty-free, vegan, and I guess primer serums are the new thing. I think I've literally tried out 4 primer serums in the past month, and before this I didn't even know primer serums were a thing, but I'm really into this type of formula and format of a primer. And so this here looks like it has a dropper, which is kind of fun and different. Yes. Oh my gosh. It actually smells incredible. Thinking like watermelon and rose mix, since that's what's in here, and I love roses and I love watermelon, so to me this smells amazing. It also looks like it has some shimmer in it, so hopefully it doesn't make the skin too glittery, but it's also a very thin, watery formula. So let's jump right in and start applying it to only half of my face. That's how I'm going to test this out so that we can see the difference. It applies, just like a serum. Feels like skincare, and it's absorbing into the skin right away too, which I really like to see. Oh, that did not work out. Okay. But I love when my serums actually do absorb into the skin like this one's doing, rather than just kind of sit on top of the skin and become too greasy. Like, this is very nice. I'm looking for that kind of gold shimmer that I saw in the product, but I'm not seeing any of that gold shimmer sparkle on my skin now, which is good. This really does feel hydrating. I will say the smell is prevalent. It's kind of a strong smell, and I know that a lot of people don't like strong smells in skincare, in complexion products. I don't really mind it, but I'm definitely noticing it still. And so this is not the pore refining formula, but looking at the large pores that I have on my cheeks and nose, compared to without it, the pores do look a little shallower, if that makes sense. Like, they look a little smoother, not as big and deep as the side without the primer. So that's great. I love to try and minimize the look of my pores as much as possible. I guess I was expecting to see more of a visual hydrated or glow or something to the skin, but it's a very natural finish texture that you really can barely see any difference with it versus without it, aside from the pores looking a little smoother. But it's definitely very tacky, which I love a tacky primer to help grip the foundation. The instructions say to let it sit for 2 minutes to absorb before applying foundation, but I feel like my skin at least absorbed this very quickly. However, we will give it some time because I am going to apply foundation now, but first I'm going to start on the side of my face without the primer. And I'm going in with the foundation that I always review primers with, the LA Colors Truly Matte Long Wearing High Pigment Foundation. And I am applying this with my new Yensa sponge that I just got in BoxyCharm in the month of May. And I've been really liking it. And it also washes very easily, which is something that's important to me with my sponges. I don't want it to get stained or be impossible to clean, and this is pretty easy to clean and it does not stain so far. So I'm really enjoying this sponge, and I've been using it every day since I tried it out in my video. Okay, so foundation is now applied to the half of my face without the primer, and I always use this foundation to review primers because it truly shows how the skin is underneath. So like I'm seeing the pores for sure. My skin right now is luckily not super dry, but it's a little, like on my chin, a little like tight, you can tell. And the foundation is looking completely matte because of lacking any sort of glow underneath. Let's go ahead now and see how it is on the side with the primer. Which, yes, it's still tacky. I'm like, did that tackiness go away? No, still tacky. Even though I waited extra time, it looks and feels the same as pretty much right after I applied it and it had dried down. But I like to follow the directions anyways. Yeah, it's blending out really nicely on top of the primer. When a primer is really sticky like this, the foundation will stick on better and allow me to get more coverage, which I really try and get on my cheeks here over the redness. And that is something that definitely looks like a difference. You can see much more redness still on my cheek without the primer versus with it. And so now foundation is applied, and it's the most obvious difference right away is looks like much more coverage on this side. The sides of my face almost look like different colors because I have so much more full coverage on this side. The pore texture, now that I have the foundation on, is not really looking that smooth. I can still see the pores just as much as I can see them without the primer. And I'm really not seeing like hydration or glow really either. This side of my face is looking just as matte as the side without it. And right away I am already having a little bit of settling into the fine lines, a little creasing in the smile lines here with the primer, which is not a good sign when there's already creasing after just applying this. So as far as skin benefits, foundation, texture changes, I'm not getting any of that. What I am getting is more coverage, gripping the foundation to make it last longer. And for that, I think this is a good primer. But this is just really reminding me a lot of that NYX Electrolyte primer that I tried out the other day, which was also a serum primer, very tacky, but that was it. And that one was like $18. This one seems pretty much the same as far as what it actually is doing for my skin and makeup, but at least this one's only $7. And for $7, I feel better about using this pretty much just to make my makeup last longer and look fuller coverage. But like I was saying before, I do prefer a primer that does more, because it's great that this covered up the redness on my cheeks, but the pores, the glow, hydration, that is not something that I'm getting improvements from with this primer, whereas with other primers, I can get those improvements as well. So I think this is fine, but I'm not blown away by it. I would be curious to hear if you've tried any of the other versions of this primer and how they work, the brightening one or the pore refining one, because for Hydrate, I guess my skin is hydrated enough, but not as much as I would hope, because it pretty much looks just as hydrated as without the primer. I just feel like this primer looks so pretty. That's what really grabbed my attention with this, but I just feel kind of meh about it. But now I know. So thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.